Oh, hello. Don't mind him, he's just a janitor. Do you guys like cheese? Because I most certainly do. And today we are going to try melting cheese all over Bloodborne. So for those of you who are lactose intolerant, you've been warned. The rules are, there are no rules. I must beat every boss in the game either through glitches where possible or by being so overpowered to the point of rendering every enemy a complete joke. I can use whatever exploit I can to reach this goal, so expect a lot of dungeon shenanigans. As usual guys, if you like what you see and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to reach 10,000 subs by the end of this year and it would mean so much to me if you could help me reach that goal. And now get your grilled cheese ready and let's get melting. Meet Mr. Mac and Cheese, an old veteran who suffers from PTSD and dementia. I woke up in Yuzefka's clinic after passing out on the toilet of a primary school, feeling like playing catch with this rabid werewolf. That's a good boy. The plan here was to use the animation from the dog's grab attack to clip through the skate. We begin by placing ourselves right in front of the gate, then we hope he does the correct attack, and as soon as we're grabbed, we start smashing R1, L1, and R2 and L2 at the same time. If you aren't in the right position though, you won't clip through, just as you see in the video. This is what it should look like.
Watch out, watch out, watch out!
It took a while, but eventually I got it. Don't forget to pull the lever to open the gate. This skip gave me access to the Forbidden Woods, which other than being a horrible place, it has very good upgrade materials and enemies drop a good amount of echoes as well as decent gems for early game. So it's a good place to start if you plan to get stronger. Too bad I'm not doing that right now. Instead, after choosing the saw cleaver as my starting weapon, I went through Central Yharnam to pick up all the blood shards in the area. There is a total of 10 here in Yharnam, and we need a total of 16 to get the saw cleaver to +3. The werewolves on the bridge have a rare chance of dropping them, but I wasn't that lucky. You can also farm these dudes if you're comfortable with your parries. After picking up the last shard, I talked to Eileen to get the best gesture in the game and returned to the woods, where I ignored everything because I was just too weak to dare fighting even a normal enemy, and I began farming single shards by killing the smaller snake piles. The drop rate isn't the best, but it's definitely the safest way. You can also fight the big ones for a sure drop if you're feeling reckless. I was also lucky that I found some decent gems during this time spent farming, and once I got bored, I returned to the Hunter's Dream, and since I still have 0 insight, the sex doll is still inactive. Luckily, I picked up some consumables to fix that problem, and I then dumped a bunch of points into ability and strength. At this point, I got so bored of farming that I decided to go kill the shadows to spice things up. In case you don't know this, here is how this works. Go inside the arena and wait for the shadows to spawn and then quit out. Get naked and get as far as you can from the fog door, but close enough so you get the prompt to enter it. Align your left shoulder with this rock right here as shown in the footage, and step inside the arena. And you've successfully frozen the Shadow's pathetic AI. I used the echoes from the shadows for some levels in vigor, strength and ability, and I then returned to Central Yharnam and spoke to a little girl about her daddy issues and received a music box as well as a restraining order. And I was ready for Father Gaspacho himself. I used the music box 3 times to get him to transform, got to this corner to bait his jump attack, and dodged at the last second. And that, boys, is how you get the winner for the Domestic Violence Award to fall through the map. After I finished farming in the Forbidden Woods, I picked up the cannon for later, and with the twin shards picked up in the woods, I was able to get my saw cleaver to +6. I also picked up the gem workshop tool and mounted some of the gems I found on the cleaver. There isn't really a glitch cheese for Cleric Beast, but my damage was high enough to practically trivialize the fight. I began by breaking its head using my gun, and due to the levels I pumped in ability, my visceral damage was pretty good. Then it was all a matter of hitting it until dead. After opening Cathedral Ward, I ran straight into Amelia's boss room. Yeah, you transform into a big scary monster. Ooh, how spooky. I quit out as soon as I gained back control and did a similar thing that I did for the Shadow. After giving that furry a piece of my mind, I traveled to Old Yharnam, where I showed Jura the quickest way for downstairs and tried for hours to get BSB to clip through this wall unsuccessfully. It is literally harder to get her to fall from the map than it is to fight her normally. So I decided to leave BSB for later and focus on the Witches of Hemwick, which don't actually have a real cheese strategy, but if you enter the arena with 0 insight, you will prevent them from summoning extra enemies. Make sure you more or less hit the witches evenly so that once you killed one, the other one will only be 1 or 2 shots away from death, preventing them from coming back to life. After this incredibly challenging boss fight, I picked up the Rune Workshop tool, picked up the Cainhurst summon from the clinic, I waited for my cap to arrive and take me to Hogwarts, and I came here only to pick up some chunks. I returned to the Grand Cathedral and touched something I probably wasn't allowed to touch that gave me a vision of something I really didn't want to watch.
Free Andrew, free Tristan. Free the Tates, free the guys. Free the guys at the cave.
Well, those are some brain cells I'll never get back. And it's DLC time. But only to pick up the chunks laying around and the Whirlgig Saw. I upgraded to +8 and melted the health bar of poor BSB. Easier than the actual cheese, honestly. Time to break the game. I used the Cum Dungeon to farm some echoes to level up my strength and ability. I then returned to Old Yharnam to pick up the ritual materials to create the first story chalice and killed the Watchers on layer 2, granting myself access to the reverse chalice dungeons, which I'm no expert in, so I'm not going to waste my and your time trying to explain them. All you need to know is that enemies in these dungeons drop high level loot. I then entered this glyph in one of the tombstones back at the Dream and farmed this pig for gems. He also has the chance of dropping a blood rock. Just recreate the dungeon to get him to respawn for infinite farm. This is the gem I got, which is very good for this stage of the game. I then entered this glyph, got this gem from inside this chest, and then farmed this unfortunate soul for more gems. Then I entered another glyph, but this one is not for the weak of heart. So before entering it, I farmed some more in the Cum Dungeon, and no, I won't stop saying it like that, to level up my vitality. And I then farmed the Watcher found in the bonus area on level 1 because he drops Cursed Blood gems 5s and 6s. This particular gem gave me a 26% boost in physical damage at the expense of durability for the weapon. There aren't any known glitches for Rum, but there is a way you can kill her in literal seconds. Enter the arena, kill all the spiders, pop a Beast Blood pellet, hit her head with your fist to get the meter to fill up, then hit her twice to stagger her, use a fire paper if you have one while waiting for your stamina to fill up, do 3 R1's attacks and a charged heavy while she teleports, and you will stop her from vanishing, skipping the phase transition, and at that point it's all a matter of finishing her off. In Ur Hargul, I picked up all the chunks in the area and I was in for another boss. And look, I know you can skip the one reborn entirely, but that wouldn't be fun, would it? Kill the witches, but only to avoid the annoying sound of their bells. My weapon is almost breaking. As I said, repair your weapon, kill the old ladies, pop a Beast Blood pellet, and start going to town with its limb until broken. And then do the same thing to the rest of its legs. Before tackling the endgame, I upgraded the Whirlgig Saw to +8, applied the gems, and farmed some more in the Cum Dungeon to level up strength and dex. Got the key to the Upper Cathedral Ward in Ur Hargul, and picked up the Eye Watcher badge for infinite Beast Blood pellets. Micolash was the next on my hit list, and since everybody hates Micolash, I find it a good thing that you can just cheese his ass with a bunch of poison throwing knives. So don't forget to purchase them. Anyways, just sidestep his attack and smack him a few times in phase 1, and for phase 2, just get to this balcony here and start chucking your knives until he's dead. Before fighting Murgo, there were a few things that needed to be done. So I went back to the dream to be my wife, to buy some vials, returned to the Nightmare of Mensis to pick up blood chunks, farmed the lanterns for gems,
Nice.
dropped your mother and got my hands on the blood rock. I upgraded the pizza cutter to plus 10. This setup should allow you to kill Murgo before she summons her clones. Before tackling the DLC, I searched this glyph and farmed this dude for this gem, and I was ready to beat a crazy horse to death. Ludwig's AI can be broken in a similar way to the Shadows and Amelia. Difference is, you will get stuck between the walls, and at that point, just roll in different direction and you'll get out eventually. Sometimes you'll fall through the map and you'll be able to see Ludwig's second face model on your way down. At that point, just quit out and try again. If you did this correctly, Ludwig should be frozen, but only for phase 1. Phase 2, you will have to beat him normally. But with the setup and gems we picked up earlier, their fight will end in seconds. Or, say you don't have PS Plus and you don't have access to the Chalice Dungeons online. Don't worry, I got you covered. Just go down the swamp beneath Yosefka's clinic and pick up this Dirty Blood Triangular Gem 3, which gives rapid poison effect to your weapon. Rapid poison sort of works like bleed does in the Soul series. The peculiar aspect is that the hitbox of the poison activates during your rolls as long as you have your weapon on you. At this point, just redo the glitch and start rolling against the boss. It takes well over 20 minutes due to Ludwig having insane poison resistances, but once he transitions, the second phase ends immediately, so you're welcome. Living Failures also don't have a glitch, but with a Beast Blood pellet it'll be like gardening on a spring day. And it was time to fight Lady Maria.
A corpse should be left well alone.
Please step on me. I couldn't find any cheese tactic apart from one video where she falls off the map, but I couldn't find any explanation of any sort on how it worked. So I did what any sensible human being would do. I got the Clawmark rune dropped from Gilbert in central Yharnam, went back to farming this guy for gem 6s. My attack power at this point was as high as it could get without needless hours of farming, and my objective was to obliterate Maria's health bar so fast she would do her transitions one after the other, giving me a chance to kill her during said transitions, actively winning the fight without phase 2 and 3. Let's see if I achieved my goal.
That's a lot of damage!
Orphan's AI cannot be frozen, however you can send it into an infinite loop by just parrying him once, do 2 R1 attack, step back, and what happens is the Orphan will get stuck in a loop of doing the same parryable attack over and over, and as long as you parry, do 2 R1 attacks and step back, he won't break out of it. You can kill him completely skipping both phases. Don't try Visceral on him when he's low though, because the game will actively prevent you from killing him before he transitions. If you miss time a parry and get hit, ignore it and whack him anyways. This is what it looked like. Since the Orphan doesn't have a death animation for his first phase, once dead he will just remain in this position. Still, no health bar, no nothing, just frozen. Time to clean some house. After upgrading my cannon to +5, I used some bone marrow ashes, shot Amygdala's ugly face, used a visceral and practically erased her health bar before giving her the final blow. And this is what I did to Ibrietas. Unfortunately guys, I lost the footage of me beating Lawrence and German. I will briefly explain what I did with Lawrence, which is the infinite ammo glitch with the cannon. Basically, you use the L2 attack on the Whirlgig saw, while it's spinning, open the weapon menu and unequip the pizza cutter, and at this point, after the cannon shots its first shot, start tapping the L2 button for infinite shots. The timing is a bit tricky, but once you learn it, just unleash your unlimited power on that bastard of Lawrence. Good luck. And just like that guys, I made Bloodborne my bitch. And what did we learn today? Well, I learned that in order to make this game easier, you will have to cash out to Sony for a PS Plus subscription, so it's a pay-to-win scheme. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys as always in the next video.